Roll call.
Wyatt. Here. Stabell.
Here.
Buns.
Present.
Reister is not here. Engel.
Here.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anything to remove from the consent agenda? Not going to have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor's comments and commendations, no commendations, but thanks for everybody in attendance. No citizens' requests or oral presentations.
No, I have nothing.
Committee reports, Administration, Personnel, Finance Committee, Gail.
All right, we met on February 26th. First item on the agenda was the employee policy handbook. Our main discussion was about the ability to offer insurance to those employees that want to retire early. We had some questions come up, and so Chrissy's gonna go check in with our health insurance agents to answer those questions, and we'll put that item back on next month's agenda. Then we talked about the planning and zoning director's position, since Bob has retired, or he's in the process and will. So we had advertised, we had a couple of applicants that applied, but we just didn't feel that they had the experience. Checked around because we wanted to know, maybe is there another city our size we can have a shared position or something like that, and it sounded like that most of the cities our size don't have a planning and zoning position. It's usually the responsibility of the building inspector or the city the city administrator. So having had some discussions with Bob, who's is retiring, and then also someone from INTRCOG, the Iowa Northland Regional Council of Governments, they would be able to help us get through if we had some questions and things like that. So we talked about then with the city administrator, they usually will have a degree of project management, and so at this time we're kind of moving towards that with Chrissy getting that degree, and then we'll move towards a city clerk / administrator position. And so at this time, the mayor says that he's willing to step in and do a little bit more of also the development and things like that. So that's the process that we are going with that. Brenda then showed us some upgrades and plans for the baseball and softball complex, and where they were at with the planning and everything like that, and the meeting adjourned at 5:19.
Thank you, Gail. Any questions for Gail? Public Works Committee meeting, Scott.
We met on March 7th. The first item related to a free little libraries program, which was proposed by Natalie Poppy as part of her Girl Scout tasks. These will be placed at either city parks or along the bike trail. Kate approached us then with the second item in regards to some picnic tables, which ultimately will be coming as a gift, really, from the gaming committee in conjunction with the Irish Fest. And we approved to store them for a period of 7 years and ultimately own them after the 7 years of storage. And then we approved a $5,000 donation as a city towards the new splash pad program or project that Kate is heading up. And then in addition to that, we are incentivizing all of those in the community to help with donations by a 10% match up to $15,000. The next item was the approval of a new storage shed at the Little League softball, baseball complex that we approved. And then there was some discussion in regards to an addition proposed at Holmes Welding. And I don't know that we ever came to any conclusion on that, and so we will revisit that at another meeting.
Any questions for Scott? Thank you, Scott. Okay, public hearings. I'll open the public hearing regarding the addition of Chapter 82 to the City of Hudson Code of Ordinances to permit off-road utility vehicles to operate on city streets. Any written comments?
No.
Proceed.
Nope, I don't.
Any oral comments?
I
Nolan?
guess I just speak up. This was, I kind of got the ball rolling on this project with some other individuals, but really, it just kind of, a lot of you know are aware of this. The way the city currently allows golf carts, we're trying to see if we can get the city to also allow UTVs, which would be, if you think John Deere Gator, Polaris Ranger, does not allow a four-wheeler. So if you're straddling it with handlebars, would not be allowed, safety reasons, of course. And so just, that's mainly what the ordinance is. We've mirrored what Evansdale has allowed. It holds these machines to a higher standard than a golf cart, so you have to have headlights, taillights, brake lights, seat belts. There's other things. Turn signals. So we're not trying to go about this in a willy-nilly way. We're trying to be responsible. Nobody wants to race up and down the street. Speed limits would apply, and I think even
35.
35 was the cap. So that's what it was about. I'm obviously in support of it. I don't know what other people think, but Nolan Farwell, I signed in on the sheet over here. Nolan Farwell, 4283 Butterfield Road. But those might, if you have questions, feel free to ask.
Thanks, Nolan. Any other comments? Close the public hearing. Then I'll open the public hearing regarding the amendment of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hudson, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to parking violations. This reduces the allowable time to pay fines in a snow emergency from 30 days to 72 hours. It had always been intended for that. Any written comments? Any comments from the floor? Close that public hearing. General Government, Hudson City Council maintains the right to waive the first and second readings of the ordinances presented and may pass the third and final reading of the same ordinance within the same council meeting. Item A, discussion action to approve the third reading of Ordinance 793 and ordinance amending the Hudson City Code 2017, Chapter 165, Development Ordinance Definitions and General Provisions by adding R6 zoning. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Engel.
Aye.
Buns.
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Wyatt. Aye.
4-0. Item B, discussion action to approve the third reading of Ordinance 794, an ordinance amending the Hudson City Code 2017, Chapter 166, Development Ordinance Establishment of Zoning Districts by limiting the number of animals on R5 lots that are under 3 acres. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay.
Discussion. Roll call.
Engel.
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Wyatt. Aye. Buns.
Aye.
4-0. Item C, discussion action to approve the first reading of Ordinance 795, an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hudson, Iowa by adding Chapter 82 off-road utility vehicles to permit off-road utility vehicles to be operated on the city streets under certain conditions and with a city permit. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Would we be out of line to waive the first and second reading on this particular one? You think so, even though we had no?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd prefer just be the first reading, and then if nothing comes up, I'll be willing to accept a waiving of the second at the next meeting, but not this one.
I will say I have a concern with them. And I completely understand, especially where you guys are coming from. My concern is, A, the speed of them, that they can go. I understand it's just like any other car. And I know they've got safety regulations in there. My other concern is ATV owners wanting to jump on that too, and us having no trail system in between where they can go now and outside of town. So those are just my concerns with it. however we go forward.
I would share your concerns on ATVs. I'm okay from the standpoint of the UTVs because of the steering wheel versus the motorcycle type.
What is the insurance requirements on this? Is that written in anything?
It is the same as the, yes, it was in it as the same as the golf cart, so they have to be inspected and show proof of insurance before they can get their,
Plate.
plate, whatever their, permit from the city. And they also have to have a flag, right?
Right.
You
No
have
one
to be
can-
18 years old to drive it.
Yeah, you have to be 18 years old, you have to have all this other stuff, so, but yes, the insurance has to be provided proof before you can get your permit every year.
Okay.
What happens if they hit a car? What's the,
It's the same liability as anything else.
Yeah.
just
Same as golf cart.
like a drive, is it a moving violation or is it?
It's a
I don't
city
know.
violation,
City violation would be
'Cause they're-
moving because they're not registered to the state.
I see.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Wyatt.
no,
3-1. Item D, discussion action to approve the first reading of ordinance 796, an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Hudson, Iowa by amending provisions pertaining to parking violations. This ordinance reduces the allowable time to pay fines in a snow emergency from 30 days to 72 hours. In this case, I would be willing to accept a motion to waive the first and the second, since we're basically just trying to get the verbiage and what had been intended.
I will make the motion to waive the first and second.
I'll
and go to the third.
Second that motion.
Discussion? Roll call?
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Wyatt.
I,
4-0. Now accept the motion to pass the third reading.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Stabell,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Wyatt,
I,
Engel.
Aye.
4-0. Item E, discussion action to approve resolution 2359, a resolution for approval to offer position of volunteer fire position. I think that's to Jim Mayer, M-A-Y-E-R.
oh, Jim's gonna, wasn't he on there before?
Yes.
That's why I thought it was somebody else, but then when nobody showed up, I was like, well, maybe not.
Oh, alright. I would move to approve, please.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Wyatt,
Aye.
Engel,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell.
Aye.
Welcome aboard or welcome back, one of the
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, they just have hazmat training tonight, that's why they
Oh.
didn't come.
Oh, that's fine.
Approved 4-0. Item F, discussion action to approve resolution 2360, resolution accepting the highest bid for the 1996 F-350 fire pickup, and that's to Larry Hanson at a price of $8,250, and our minimum had been $6,000, so well above it.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
That money goes back into firemen.
reserves.
Perfect, thank you.
Roll call,
Wyatt,
Aye.
Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Engel.
Aye.
4-0. Item G, discussion action to approve resolution 2361, a resolution for approval to provide a donation to the Hudson Splash Pad project, and as Scott had mentioned, that's an initial $5,000 immediately, and then we would match, city would match up to 10% of future donations up to a cap of a $15,000 total. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
We'll obviously be abstaining.
No, you don't
from
need
the-
to abstain because you have no personal gain from it, even though you're ramrodder of the project.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We looked into
I
it.
just had a quick question.
Yep.
For the donation, who ultimately owns and
The
manages that?
city of
City.
Hudson will.
So the verbiage donation is just, why are we donating
We're
from the
just
city?
contributing to the
I see.
project from the city.
So it's just really coming from one fund to the
Right.
other?
Correct.
I see.
Yeah.
I got a call on that and they weren't sure if there was a separate unit.
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
So with us approving this, including the 10% business, we aren't gonna have to, every time we need to put towards, we're not gonna have to
No,
run this
this'll,
over again.
this'll cover it, and it'll simply be an internal accounting transaction by city clerk. Any further? Roll call.
Sure, I don't know.
Engel.
Do we need
Did
to,
I- Did I have to vote already?
No.
No.
I just informed you that you could vote.
oh, so did we have a first and a second, or did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, whoa, I'm way confused. Thank you. It's been a long day.
Aye.
Okay, Bunce,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Yes.
4-0. Item H, discussion action to approve resolution 2362, a resolution for approval of payment request number 7 regarding the Hudson Rise, Riders Road, and Fast Lane project, and I think that was in the amount of about $23,000. And that'll still leave $142,000 yet to be paid in the future. So I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Engel,
Aye.
Wyatt,
Aye.
Stabell,
Aye.
Bunce.
Aye.
4-0. Informational items, there's a number of them on the packet. Reminder items, regular scheduled meetings at the council chambers except electric board and library board. Next meetings of the mayor's task force, March 20th at 4:45 PM. Public safety, March 22nd, 4 PM. Personnel admin finance committee, March 26th at 4:45 PM. Public works committee, April 11th at 7 AM. Next council meetings, March 26th and April 9th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Everyone.
We should have moving it since Kristen.
How are you guys today?
How are you, Kate?
Tired of winter. If we have one at all.
You and me both.